On the way to school, what would you do if you ran into a gang? That day, Annie had planned to take a shortcut to school. However, she unexpectedly ran into a big guy in an alley. There was also a car parked nearby. Annie mustered up the courage to walk past him, but just then, a man came from the other side. He seemed even more nervous than Annie and quickly stepped aside. The two exchanged glances, both knowing the most important thing now was to leave quietly. Just as they were almost in the clear, the man panicked and pushed Annie. Her leg was instantly burned by the exhaust pipe, and smoke started rising from it. The situation became incredibly awkward. At that moment, Jason, who had been smoking a cigarette, walked over to Annie and demanded to know if she was looking for trouble. But Annie, nervous, couldn't help but laugh. Seeing her laugh only made Jason angrier. He grabbed her and pulled her up. The man nearby was so scared he ran off. Annie thought about asking for help, but in her panic, she accidentally hit Jason's face, knocking him unconscious. She tried to escape quickly but realized the car was still there, and it might burn someone else, so she decided to move it. However, Jason was about to wake up, and Annie was in a rush to figure out what to do. When Jason woke up, he saw Annie sitting in the car, wearing sunglasses, and teasing him, asking if he slept well. Annie knew that even if she escaped, Jason wouldn't let her go, so she decided to take a gamble. She acted calm and warned Jason that she was hiding her true strength. She told him that being defeated by a high school girl was no accident. To her surprise, Jason was genuinely scared by her words and quickly asked who she was. After thinking for a moment, Annie gave him her online username and continued lying. She told him that while he was out riding his motorcycle, she was battling others with a gun. So, dealing with his small antics wasn't a big deal for her. Annie added that she faced people in battles every day until the next morning and then regretted it, because many in her organization had become disabled as a result. All these lies made Jason believe her. Wanting to scare him more, Annie kept talking. Jason, after hearing her, was so frightened that he kneeled and admitted defeat. But before Annie left, he made one request. He wanted to take her to school. The next thing Annie knew, she was riding on Jason's motorcycle, arriving at school to the astonished stares of her classmates. The whole situation was extremely awkward, but when they got to school, things only got worse. Jason called out Annie's online username in front of everyone. Later that day, Annie was in the bathroom when she suddenly heard a guy yelling in the stall next door. It startled her, but she had no idea what was going on. Just before, she had been feeling a little unwell and had found the restroom, but as she was about to leave, she noticed a sign on the wall. It turned out she had walked into the wrong restroom. After the man left, Annie cautiously opened the door. Now, she needed to figure out how to sneak out of the men's restroom. Annie decided to use her hidden ability and gathered all her sensory cells in her eyes, unleashing her sixth sense, which allowed her to see through walls. Just as she found a chance to escape, someone else entered, so she had to hide again. Clearly, this ability wasn't as useful as she thought. While wondering what to do, she saw a toolbox and suddenly came up with an idea. Instead of hiding, she could knock the man unconscious while he was in the stall and then swap clothes in the cubicle. That way, she could leave unnoticed. However, as she thought about it, Annie got scared. So, she quickly chose a safer method. She placed a sign at the door and used an iron barrel to climb out of the window. While carefully observing the situation outside, a man rushed in, desperate to use the bathroom. In the next moment, Annie spilled the green tea in her hand, and the yellow liquid spread across the floor. The man wasn't in such a hurry anymore. Soon, two girls walked by outside, and Annie saw her chance. She quickly tossed a small ball to attract a kitten's attention. The girls, distracted by the kitten, didn't notice the man, and Annie seized the moment to jump out of the window. However, she forgot about her size and got stuck halfway through.